Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the tournament wrap-up brought to you by Hi-Rez Studios. My name is OctanePro, and I'm your host tonight for the tournament wrap-up segment. If you guys are just joining us for the first time and catching this segment out, the tournament wrap-up is a show that airs every week that does a quick recap and highlight reel of the past two tournaments of the Hi-Rez Weekly SMITE North American and EU tournament. It's a great segment available to you if you are not able to catch the weekly tournaments on Saturday and Sunday, but still want to feel connected to them. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the Hi-Rez North American SMITE Weekly for November 10th. So as you can see with the brackets up here, we do have 9 teams this week. We have quite a few round 1 buys. Team-Dignitas, Exeter Esports, Panda Bears, Reason Gaming, SMITE Boards, Denial Esports, and Dusk Dominion. Let's go ahead and take a look at the grand finals where we did have Team-Dignitas versus Denial Esports. For 3rd and 4th place, though, we did have Reason Gaming facing off against Exeter Esports and being victorious, taking home the 3rd place prize. Let's go ahead and look at the route for Team-Dignitas. They started out in round 1 with a bye. Then at round 2, they went off against Silver Snakes and won against them. And then finally, Exeter Esports, where they were victorious to go ahead and get into the grand finals. Now for Denial Esports, they had a round 1 bye as well. They went up against Dusk Dominion and also Reason Gaming, and they won there, putting them in the grand finals. Let's go ahead and jump into the grand final breakdown. So for game number 1, we had Team-Dignitas, which they selected Guan Yu, Agni, Neith, Freya, and Bacchus. And their bans were Tyr and Zhang Kui. Now for Denial, they went a different route, went with Anher Sobek, Hercules, Sun Wukong, and then finally Isis, and their bans, Athena, and finally Mercury. Let's go ahead and check out the game number 1 highlight reel.
Game number 1 in a best of 3 between Team-Dignitas and Denial North America. My name is Hi-Rez Bart, and I am joining Lionheart, who will be your cameraman and co-commentator today, but please allow me to introduce your teams. On the left side of your spectator UI, they are the blue team fighting out on the bottom of the minimap. It is Team-Dignitas. They are Zapman on your Hunter Neith, Lassus on your Jungle Freya. You're going to have Anatoly on your solo lane Guan Yu. It's going to be Agni for the best in the mid lane and Shadowhue on your Guardian support for that dual lane. And they'll be going up against the red team from the top of the minimap. And the right side of your spectator UI, Denial Esports North America. They have Pon Ulala on your Jungle, Hercules, Mace of the Face, Isis mid lane. Pain Divian going to be your hunter in the dual lane on Anher. You have Rush for the solo lane Sun Wukong, and Jeff Hindla on your Guardian support dual lane.
And Anatoly now maybe playing a little too aggressive. He's going to run into Hercules here, who's beating on him. Wukong is coming back in. He's got very fast movement speed. He can turn into the bird and catch up if he wants to. There it is. There's the bird. He's going to try and pursue. Earthbreaker's going to hit, and this is going to be maybe a dead Anatoly. No! Dignitas is rotated in. Anatoly's still alive. Pom now in trouble. He's getting low. Shadowhue looking to try and make it around. Is going to jump over. Pom will live as well. Intoxicate comes out. Will they have enough to secure the kill onto Mace to the face? The best needs to hit another damage-dealing ability. Spirit Ball hits. Still chasing the backlines. Flame Wave is good. Mace to the face will go down, and Dignitas is the one that walks away with the kill. Down as well for the next few minutes, so they do pick up a kill, and that's the goal. Keep Zapman down. He does have a Heartseeker, and so losing again half of those stacks, and maybe in a tough spot. But speaking of tough spots here, Sobek and Pain to Beyond, and Agni's going to rotate in. Up in the skies is Lazarus looking to deal that additional burst damage. Neith Ultimate's going to come in onto Pain. It hits. One more auto attack needs to hit, though. He's still alive. He's going to get out the back door, and here comes Mace to the face. Now Lazarus in a really tough spot. Circle of Protection goes down, but Lassus has the moves. No! Pain to Beyond rotates back in, throws a spear for securing the kill, and says, "You didn't get me, I'm gonna get you instead." He spends the weave, actually doesn't hit anybody, and now Pom is in the middle of this disruption. The Gold Fury resets, and this is turning into a straight fight. 4 members of Dignitas against 4 members, soon to be 5 of Denial here. They need that extra rotation from Agni, but he's all the way across the map. Dignitas, they need to get out. This is not good for them. Lazarus gonna have to use his ultimate. He's aerial now, still getting chased by Pom. He's gonna get hit by the Neith ult. That buys time for Lazarus. Now, more engagement over on the left-hand side, trying to protect Zapman, as Lazarus will in fact fall there. Guan Yu's gonna come in, and Anatoly will slay Pain to Beyond. Zapman's doing so good, kiting backwards. He's got peel from his teammates. Now Anatoly gonna be able to pick up Sobek. Another member of Denial falls back. That leaves Wukong by himself, low on mana. They're gonna continue to chase. His teammates are rallying in.
Yeah, and now trying to fall back is Rush, but Best has a pretty good angle. He's getting zoned out by Mesa Face, actually going to get stunned there, so there's no chance of getting that Meteor Stun unless he can throw one over the wall here. Doesn't matter, because Zapman is there and for denial here. Knowing Dignitas has gone back in force, if they can burn this down quickly, and if I can see Pain to start it, he's trying to get his team over here, but it looks like they're not going to go for it. It's too late now. You see them kind of being indecisive here around that Gold Fury, and now it's going to be a Fire Giant attempt from Dignitas.
Yeah, and they had almost no hesitation about it. Bacchus immediately goes in, starts tanking it, and now you can see how Shadowq sitting in the back lines. They switched the tanky over to Anatoly because it's important that Shadowq lives to be able to secure that. They don't want him to be in low health and in a position where he's not able to stay in there for those last seconds to try and get the hog. They get a good snare on the Mace of the Face. Circle of Protection goes down, and look at that. The Wukong clone in the back is enough to distract them. They pull off of Mace of the Face and all focus down Wukong clone, thinking that that's the real one. It's not. He had lived, and so a nice save there. Perhaps inadvertently by Rush. To go ahead and pick Freya, needs to rotate into position, and Neith is actually pretty far back. I'd like to have Zapman a little bit farther forward before he channels that ultimate, so he's able to join the fight. He thinks the same thing as well and actually moves up, stops channeling, and Dignitas is looking for an opportunity to go ahead and put pressure on this Phoenix. Zapman the one chasing it. Jeff Hindla hits the fling. Lazarus is in the middle of traffic, but Anatoly has the Phoenix aggro. Mace to the face, bursted down to the back line by Intoxicate. Nice job, Shadowq, after the harass and poke from the other members of Dignitas. Excavate comes out and lands on Anatoly, but Anatoly has such good resist to physical damage. He's not taking much at all. Jeff Hindla forced out of that engagement by the Best, and Honor goes down as well, and Dignitas like that takes out 3 members of Denial Esports. They don't lose anybody, and they're going to look to close onto Pompon here as well as the Phoenix, the Minotaur, and the game.
Yeah, they'll take the Minotaur here easily, and Lassus with the Polynomicon proc took nearly half of Pain de Beyond's HP on her, and once they secured him, there just wasn't going to be enough damage to stop anybody from pushing right into that base. Dignitas takes game number 1 here in the best of 3 in the finals, ladies
Amazing
and gentlemen.
game by Team Dignitas, winning over top of Denial Esports in game number 1 of the Hi-Rez Weekly North American Tournament. If I was to go ahead and give out an MVP for that game, I think I'd have to hand it out to the Best for Team Dignitas, playing as Agni, going in with an 8-2 kill-to-death ratio and an amazing control of mid-game throughout that entire game. The build for Agni was Vampiric Shroud, Boots of Magi, Focused Voidstone, Bancross Talon, and Obsidian Shard, followed up finally by Rod of Tahuti. Jumping to game number 2, let's go ahead and take a look at our team picks. Team Dignitas selected Tyr, Bacchus, Hebo, Anher, and Han Bats. And our bans were Sobek and Guan Yu. And then finally for Denial Esports, they selected Zhang Kui and Mercury, Hercules, Freya, and Hades. And their bans for game number 2 were Agni and Athena. Let's go ahead and check out game number 2 of the Hi-Rez North American Weekly. Let's jump in.
Esports North America. We are going to be taking a look at the blue team first. From the bottom of the mini-map and the left side of your spectator UI, they are Denial Esports, Mace to the Face, Ponpon Ulala, Rush, Pain de Beyond, and Jeff Hindla as Zhonghui, Mercury, Hercules, Freya, and Hades. And they'll be going up against Team Dignitas, the red team. From the top of your mini-map, they are Zapman, Lassus, Anatoly, the Best in Shadowq, on Anher, Hunbots, Tyr, and Hebo. My name is Bart, and I am joining Lionheart, who is your commentator.
Anatoly's doing a nice job of baiting Rush to trade with him, and now Rush is down to about half health. Lassus is coming in. Fear No Evil's going to land. Overhead smash. They're looking for the opportunity. No lockdown. Driving Strike's going to land, but there it is. Lawbringer is going to secure the kill, and down will go Rush for a first blood in favor of. They're going to camp Rush. They're looking to put pressure onto Hercules as much as they can. And speaking of engagements, there's one going on mid lane. Mercury coming in to interrupt, but Mace to the Face's ultimate is out, landing on the Best, and a lot of damage onto Hebo here. And of course, you see Lazarus coming in trying to interrupt. It'll be a 1-for-1 trade so far. Now they'll look to try and continue the pressure onto Jeff Hindla. They got to get out. Pain de Beyond goes into the air. Gonna be able to pick up this kill onto Shadowq. No, he doesn't. He runs out of ultimate stacks, and Zapman's gonna be the one who rotates in instead. Can't secure the kill onto Pompon, and will jump over the wall to go ahead and meet Lassus. And I can't believe it, but only 2 people die in that engagement in the mid lane.
Yeah, now Jeff Hindla, the one that may be in some trouble. The great banish for Pain to Beyond in the back line there. Jeff Hindla's still in a lot of trouble, though. He's standing in the sands. The shifting sands are shifting. Anatoly coming in. Can he stop Pain to Beyond from securing any more kills? No ultimate available. Ponpon's here as well. Gonna miss the gotcha on the Lassus there. Pain to Beyond gonna get slowed now by the tier ultimate. This should be a dead range carry. Indeed it is. Dignitas somehow brings it after that.
Left completely alone with split push and takes an entire tower away from Dignitas. That spikes it a little bit back in their favor, cutting away to 2,300.
Bon ultimate going to be interrupted by the Hunbot's ultimate coming in now is Tier. They're going to look to dive this tower. They're going to get the burst. It's good. The rock doesn't do enough damage to dissuade them from falling out of this tower here. Last is the fact that she's going to tank it for a few hits, allow those minions to come in. He's going to miss the fist actually on the Rush, but they are going to get a lot of tower damage out of this, and they should just be too tanky for Rush to push them off this tower. It's going to be a free tier 1 going the way of Dignitas, and now Rush, the one in some trouble, knocked up, going to be changed CC'd into the Intoxicate. Now having trouble running away, going to get the Driving Strike, but is he going to be able to get out of here? Pain of Beyond, re-engage, banish, but it's going to be onto the tank. Still damage dealers operating. Hades is there. Leaping out is Tier. Leaping out is Hunbot's Tier. Now going to be picked up by the Pain of Beyond ultimate. Rush hitting a knockup onto Best, who ultimates through it, but doesn't find the kill on the Pain. There's a knockup for that kill. Jeff Hindla not going to be able to pursue the Best. Too slow. They're going to look for Rush. Lassus does not get the teleport. Rush should live. Bach is going to dive into the tower. Overhead strike from Lassus. In comes Jeff Hindla. Not going to get the fear, only the silence, and now Dignitas will continue rolling into the mid lane.
And Zatman now joining the fight. He's going to pin against the wall there, but a huge disrupt from Papa. Rejoining the engagement. They pin Lazarus against the wall. Now they found Shadow Q. Shadow Q barely alive, but Papa's going to be able to catch up. The Best is They could continue to chase him as well. They won't, but they do pick up 2 kills. And Dignitas, they simply banned out almost every single game except for one and this one. Mercury banned out every single game except for this one. And right now, Dignitas, they're taking the upper hand despite these kind of high priority, high ban picks being against them.
And Bacchus is going Soul Reaver. Because everything is good in the world, Lionheart. There is a big-time Mercury ult into the Fire Giant pit. Very confident. Bursts out very fast to Jeff Hindla. That boulder's not going to do enough damage here. Russ going to try to go in. He's going to get Shadow Cube, but he's not going to be able to secure this kill. Belly Flood coming through. Pon's going to get killed. Dignitas gets the Fire Giant and a 3-man wipe, and that is exactly what we said cannot happen. Zatman going to get a pin here on the Rush for free. They're going to burst him down just so fast. The Toxic going to be used as well over at Smash to secure that kill. Jean-Qui the only one living, and Dignitas is going to roll into the base now.
4 members of Denial Esports go down, as you were talking about, Bart. All 5 of Team Dignitas are alive. The Soul Reaver is their flag on Bacchus as they move in for the Phoenix, and potentially they might go for the Minotaur as well. 2 members of Denial Esports are down for a significant amount of time, and they do. They're going directly for the kill here. They're going to try to take out this Minotaur, and it's dropping very, very fast. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it is. Yes, Team Dignitas is going to take the series 2-0 against Denial Esports, and they are your
Well, amazing job there by Team Dignitas, taking game number 2 and taking the entire series for this week's Hi-Rez North American SMITE tournament. If I was to hand out an MVP for that game, I'd have to hand it over to Anatoly of Team Dignitas, who was playing as Tier in that game with an 8-to-2 kill-to-death ratio, and his build was Warrior Tabby, Focused Void Blade, Bulwark of Hope, and Witchstone. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the North American Hi-Rez Weekly Tournament Wrap-Up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the EU. Alright folks, let's go ahead and take a look at the EU bracket for this week. We did have 11 teams sign up, and we have quite a number of round 1 buys. So in round 1 we had SK Gaming, My Revenge EU, The Fanboys, Cognitive Gaming EU, and Mortality Esports EU, all that had buys in round 1. Now for the grand finals, we did have SK Gaming versus Mortality Esports EU, and we did have the Fanboys placing 3rd, and finally Cognitive Gaming EU actually getting 4th. Now if we go ahead and take a look at our brackets and take a look at the path that SK Gaming took this week, round 1 they had a bye, round 2 they went up against Woot and Mama, and round 3 the Fanboys, which they were victorious across the board. Taking a look at Mortality Esports EU, they did have a round 1 bye as well, as we discussed. They then went against Wellix Esports, and finally Cognitive Gaming EU to be victorious and move on to the grand finals. Let's go ahead and take a look at game number 1, where we see SK Gaming pick up Hades, Tier, Ymir, Sobek, and Guan Yu. And their bans, no surprise, we have Zeus and Artemis. Now for Mortality, they went with Neath Mercury, Sun Wukong, Aokong, and finally Hercules, with bans on Agni and Jean-Qui. Now let's take a step back here and take a look. SK Gaming, as I said before, their build, Hades, tank, Tier, bruiser, Ymir, tank, Sobek, tank, and Guan Yu. I guess he's a little bit of a hybrid now, I guess you could say. Used to be a tank, now we see him more as an AD, but can be built very tanky as well still. So let's go ahead and dive into the highlights for game number 1.
Both of us always talk about this during our stream. Don't spend points until you know what you need.
Because if he had, I mean, even so, I mean, Transformations is pretty decent in the beginning, but if he had Cudgel there, he'd be in trouble. Driving Strike hits 3 people. We get a dash through. He's stunned. Poeng, you are out of here. Actually, will they be deterred? They're deterred by the level 1 tornado. How are they afraid of 80 damage as Poeng tries to get away? We have about 1 second before it comes off cooldown. It does get it. Spec earns it. That's going to be the first blood. Great positioning
They
there.
have wards all over the place. Look at the map right now. I'm going to go ahead and swap out the vision here. Look at the top right corner. This is the vision that SK is boasting. Initiation in the mid lane. There's the tail up top of Al Kwong. This Squall is going to do some work there. But again, look at this. They have vision of the right side jungle. They have vision in between the tier 1 and tier 2 towers. They have vision of the left one, the right, and of course across the way. They have vision everywhere, and they know that, you know, Mercury is going to be their late game power. Hercules is going to be their team fight front end. They kill Hercules. They shut down the farm of Mercury. What do they have? They can't really do it or engage anything.
Running trains.
Rock comes out.
Oh, actually, do you see the shutdown there? We're going to get the Spirit Tempest, just barely going to get dodged. 1 hit's going to be enough. That boulder got just barely shut down. Smek getting flung from tower to tower there. Nowhere to go. That's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange.
It just, as the effect was still on his body and fading away, he dropped from about 70% to about 5%. Let's watch this. Wall comes out.
We see the Glacial Strike, right? So, all right, so here we go. Proxy comes in. He gets the freeze. So there's the first 1,000,000 points of damage. The Aegis comes out there. Now, death from below, huge amount, plus the Glacial Strike, just unbelievable. Through 5 people to try to get the hands, especially even trying to contest with the Sobek as well, who's going for it, but it has been finished up. And now, I mean, the Fire Giant sitting at, looks about 2/3 HP, has only 5 players in the way from him going straight into the ground.
Mercury's going to head home, and they don't really even notice or care at this point. Fire Giant buff will scale up all these tanky characters to do more damage. We have NQ defending. There's a wall. There's a dash. Frost Breath in the middle of the transformation is now on cooldown, and he is completely caught. That's a dead NQ. Epidary comes out. Al Kwong ultimate doing massive damage. The Tornado's going to do some damage as well. Mercury trying to get something done. Will he get Zalia? The tail whip will force him away. No punch in range. Zalia is at the criticalist of critical HP, and he dashes after Epidary in the jungle. Sobek doing work right now. Sayo surrounded 3v1, but here comes some support. There's Devour Souls dropping Exotic quite low. Exotic gonna force back, but Smek will get him in the meantime. Driving Strike comes out. Minotaur is now in the fight. The right Phoenix is exposed. Look at its HP. Is it gonna be enough? Will they get this victory here or not? The Tornado's on the ground. Suntouch is going over. The Hand of the Gods coming out. Can they defend? No! The Minotaur goes down, and at this point, SK Gaming wins game 1 of the grand finals and earns themselves a 7-0 straight win streak in grand final history in the last 5 weeks against Mortality. They still have yet to take a game off of SK, and what wonderful way to end that situation.
So amazing game number 1 by SK Gaming, actually winning the entire game there with an entire tank layout and bruiser layout for their team. Very, very surprising. SK Gaming is always one to go ahead and develop their own unique meta. I feel like they're one of the teams that started out going with like the 1-2-1 combination with the jungler with 2 in mid, and now we see them trying like an all tank layout. So if I had to pick MVP for that game, it would be the entire team of SK Gaming because they did an amazing job there. Let's go ahead and take a look at game number 2. We have SK Gaming going ahead and picking up Hebo, Artemis, Anher, Ares, and Isis. And their bans were Zeus and Tyr. Now for Mortality Esports, they went with Zhang Kui, Mercury, Agni, Shablanke, and Odin. And their bans were Sobek and Guan Yu. Let's go ahead and jump into the highlights for game number 2.
Everyone, and welcome back to game 2 of the grand finals. Who do we got going up here today, Brandon?
No, this is going to be the second game of the finals today. It's a 2 out of 3. SK's up 1-0, and again, Mortality's trying their hand against this monstrous SK team that hasn't lost a game in 5. This will be the 5th week in a row if they can win this game.
You know, it's fantastic to see them playing up. So let's go cover who's playing where they're going. SK Gaming already running against the envelope here, seeing how far they can push it. And looks like Mortality is privy to it this time around as they just collectively jump across the map. Poang's going to be on Odin there for Mortality, playing that support Guardian role. NQ on John Quay in the solo lane. Exotic on Hunter with Shivalanke. Captain Twig mid lane. Ogden did not grab up his Ao Kwang this time around. Epanderi on Mercury in the jungle. Across the way, SK Gaming, the red team, playing a little bit more standard this time around. Suntouch on Ares. Smek playing on her. We have Sayo on Isis in the mid lane. Zalia playing Artemis this time around, stealing away Exotic's little best friend. And Proxy QQ on Hebo in the jungle with his awesome Surf's Up jump.
I'm interested to see what SK has come up with to combat this Zhang Kui, because personally, just from a theorycraft standpoint, I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's not really a whole lot. I mean, Zhang Kui doesn't really care a whole lot about what Artemis does. And once the board's out, it's all about little basic attacks in there and trying to get everything down as an overall damage completion. But with the amount of healing it has, Mercury can come out with something. There it hits right on top of Smek. Special delivery. If you basically he has a jump though, he's gonna jump into the spears of Odin. Huge misplay by Smek, and now Odin's gonna be able to push this down and survive for the time being. Ares has no chains. And the Hand of the Gods comes out. Rising Jaguar, but not done yet. Hebo wants something, wants to pick something up. Has Exotic by himself. Does he have chains available from Suntouch? He does. Look at the damage output. He's got no meta. Exotic's got nowhere to go. Is this a free kill for SK due to Exotic's lack of escape and inability to disengage when he had the opportunity, or will he survive? He's wiggling like a maniac, but basic attacks will be enough.
But they don't know how much damage it's going to do. We got the Ring of Spears down. Sayo is gone. And that's going to be a great chance for them to return this, but a huge special delivery is going to get him out of there. Proxy trying to look for the water spout. Is he in range? He has the speed buff, and he gets it. And now Poang stuck behind the Gold Fury, just trying to get away. Suntouch one hit away from going down. Rising Jaguar does not hit. They're going to give away the kill as Proxy QQ chases down Exotic, trying to get this final kill, but he's not going to have the damage necessary unless he has the ultimate. Actually, water spout comes off a cooldown, and he does pick it up. 3 members drop
for Proxy QQ on Hebo. 5-1 and 4 leading the charge right now. Zayla's going to go for a very heavy attack speed build, something we don't really see too often on a character like Artemis, who already has Vengeful Assault. Going to be hitting pretty much cap very soon here, and once she starts building up damage, she'll be able to do lots with it. Left side, Shivalanke go down on top of Smek. There goes Initiation. Odin does not have an ultimate, but Shivalanke does. There's the darkness coming through. Impale comes out. Great Odin Spears. They're going to pull it through. Desert Fury not doing a whole lot as the Purification beads get activated, and now Hebo's in the fight. Smek's jumping away. Exotic goes down. Path of Flames comes out. Meteor not going to land, still out of range. He wants the lunge. He's not going to get it. Smek's going to survive. Proxy QQ goes down to Epanderi's Sonic Boom, however. And now we have a 3v2. NQ's on his way. Can they get something done here? Sile pops the ultimate. Zoning them out, circle protection, but NQ is on the backside. He has his ultimate, heal up his team. He should be popping it pretty soon here, making sure his team does not go down. He's going too far forward. He's getting greedy. His team's behind him. Path of Flames on Suntouch there. Epanderi does some punch in action. Gonna go right through the chains. Actually, the special delivery should be enough to clear the gap, and it will. NQ dies! Did he have his ultimate? He did, but looks like it's soloed down by Zalia. Captain Twig by himself gets picked off. They traded a 2-for-1 for Ares altogether. Wow, I don't know why.
But at the same time, you know, Mortality has a pretty big lead here. They would have to really try to let this one go. Now, Odin Shout at this point will be almost maxed, if not maxed already, more than likely leveling it second. Now, we get a pull here. It only lands onto Poang. The Phoenix goes down. Epanderi is escaping for most of the damage from Desert Fury. Exotic's not in a great spot. Sonic Boom hits only one person who is CC immune. Now, in the backside, Sayo does miss the shot there from the Spirit Ball. Zalia goes down. Circle of Protection going down very, almost uncharacteristically late. And now Suntouch, poor guy, trying to run away, gets nothing. 4 for 0 so far. Mortality is going to take their first win on SK in 5 weeks.
You gotta know the feeling here. I mean, can you even imagine the feeling that Mortality has right now? Finally taking down the giants that is SK Gaming. They shut them down.
Well, if we needed to pick an MVP for game number 2, it definitely would be Epanderi of Mortality Esports playing as Mercury. Went very, very well here, 12-5, and we did see him go with Deathbringer, Warrior Tabby, Heartseeker, and finally the new Rage kind of style for Tier 3, Malice. So very nice job there to Ependary of Mortality Esports. Let's go ahead and take a look at game number 3. We have SK Gaming selecting Zeus, Ymir, Guan Yu, Kali, and Shablanke. And the bans were Tyr and Mercury. And for Mortality Esports, Artemis, Agni, Sun Wukong, Han Bats, and Bacchus. And the bans were Sobek and Zhang Kui. So it's currently tied up 1-1. SK Gaming took game number 1 and Mortality Esports game number 2. Let's go ahead and dive into game number 3's highlights.
And welcome to game 3 of the grand finals. It all ends here today with this final game of the day.
SK Game is going to be up against Mortality in Game 3, and this is Mortality's chance for victory. We haven't seen them be able to beat SK in the last 4 times that they have faced off. SK has also won the last 4 events in a row. This could be their 5th week. Or has it been 5th weeks, or has it been 3?
They faced off 3 weeks.
They try to make SMITE history with their 5th win. At the same time, Mortality has been the bridesmaid for over a month now, continuously going into 2nd place. But I really like the pickup from Sayo here. Sayo's going to get first blood. He's going to have a chance here. 1 shot remains. He's already used his shot. He's inside the creeps. He actually might get picked off here if he's a little bit too dangerous. Oh my God, Sayo with the Zeus pickup. Huge play is going to earn the first blood down, beneath their own towers at this point. This is a really good chance for Proxy to earn himself some gold.
Right side lane still exchanging. There's the Hand of the Gods coming out. The bounce coming. NQ dropping low. Frenzy comes out here. Does he have enough to get it before the ultimate? No! He gets up to the ultimate in time. Goes for the dunk. The turnaround might come through. Does he have a Bloodlash in time? They're changing. And the last hit goes to Zalia. Meantime,
Smek has come in as well. They don't have Ymir for the hand here. Poing does have hand 3. This could be their chance to really turn this around and end this series. But Sayo on the back end has a chance to really do some damage. Exotic burning him down. The ult is down. No detonate in time. They're going to have a chance for the Fire Giant. Captain Twig is down, but 1 for 1 right now. Actually, Proxy gets picked up as well. There's nothing for them to do. Smek has put himself in a horrible situation. Drybear, what is happening?
I don't know. Sunhedge is going to come through. He just needs to get out.
Firemen are creeping through, and it's the lanes that you don't want to have when you're on defense to be pushed. But Fire Giant's gone. Mortality got it. Sayo doesn't recognize. He's pushed up very far. The stun comes. Oh, the stun just barely misses. Hand of the Gods comes out. Drybear, they're inside. This is going to be the final team fight. Ependary jumps too soon. It takes the full brunt of the Ymir damage on top of Zeus. This could be turned around, but 2 members of SK have already been picked up. Captain Twig's on his last legs, but still raining bombs from the background, Drybear. I think this is going to be it.
Ymir gets stepped on the trap. Give it up for Mortality in chat. Everybody looks like they might be able to take this game. This is going to be their first place victory in 5 weeks. They're gone 7-1 against SK Gaming. They have yet to pull a game out except for the last game. They lost game 1 in this series and they pulled it back. And now they're here at game 3. They're bearing down on the Minotaur. They want to get this victory. They're shutting down SK. The dynasty has fallen. Mortality is taken SK Gaming. They will not take their 5th win 5 weeks in a row because Mortality will get the first place prize.
Well, congratulations to Mortality Esports for winning the entire series 2-1. Definitely coming back. They were in a deficit, being down 1 game from the start, facing against that entire tanky style build team layout of SK Gaming, but they did take it back to win the series 2-1. Congratulations to Mortality Esports. It's been quite a number of weeks since they've actually been able to say they're number 1 in the tournament here. Well, guys, check out the show next week on youtube.com/SMITEPro. If you guys have any questions, comments, recommendations, show topics, or feedback about the show, please email it to smitewrapup@gmail.com. If you guys would like to check out more content by me, please go to OctaneProGaming.com or check me out on Twitch. I stream several days a week, lots of Smite and other Smite podcasts at twitch.tv/OctanePro SCII. And if you're in Smite game chat, just type !OctanePro on Twitch, and that'll give you all the information. Please make sure you also go over to SmiteGame.com if you're checking out Smite for the first time and would like to play completely free. The game is in open beta, so feel free to go there for not only the game, but also news, patch notes, Smite stats, and much, much more. Also, please make sure you stay connected with Smite over at Facebook.com/SmiteGame and Twitter.com/SmiteGame. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.